It's all good.
Man. What's going on, everyone? I'm with Jarad Thomas, back at it again, ready, repaint, set, go. What's up, man?
Not much, man. I just thought I'd schedule another breakthrough session with you. I've come a long way since last time we spoke.
Give me a recap. Where were you last time we spoke?
Before I didn't have my license, I was just kind of doing painting houses by myself, for property manager in between tenants,
Sure.
that kind of deal. And I started my company. I incorporated, and I got my license in November. And so since then, it's been full speed ahead.
Congrats, man.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, trying to get legit.
Oh, that was in November, you said, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So how's the year turning out for you so far?
I'm starting to pick up steam for sure. I got my Google local service ads. I got my Google My Business. I already have more 5-star reviews than the people on top of the map pack. The top
There you
three
go.
around
Cool.
here. They only got like 9 and 7 5-stars. I got 13 so far.
You're in a small town then.
Not really, man. It's not small at all. I mean, this Brentwood itself is small, but we're like 20 minutes from Walnut Creek and Danville and San Ramon, all these big money places.
Yeah,
And,
well, that's good. I mean, heck, that's a good thing for you, man. Not everyone's that lucky to be in a town where the top companies on the map pack have that little bit of reviews. I do want to mention, though, the reason that is none of them are doing proper SEO.
They're all the old guard. I worked at Kelly Moore around here.
So who they are, probably, right?
I remember them from being when I was in high school working at Kelly Moore. So they've all been around.
And those guys don't need anything to advertise. They'll stay busy for the rest of their life.
Exactly. So I'm trying to capitalize on that, man.
Good. So any employees? I mean, so why'd you call this meeting, man? What direction?
Well, yes, I have got employees. I'm trying to get them on payroll. Well, they're on payroll now. I just hired a new apprentice, which is I got lucky. He called me out of the blue, found me on Google since I was on the top with my local service ad.
Nice.
He's a young kid from a blue collar family.
Yep.
And I think I got lucky with him. And the other two guys, I've been working with them for a while, and I'm getting them on payroll. Just got my workers' comp. And so I got 3 full-time guys now and myself.
So you got 3 full-time guys, you got yourself.
Mm-hmm.
How's lead flow been? I mean, what's that been looking like?
That's picking up. I'm using Angie leads. That's where I kind of started. I started with that in Yelp. And
did I start you on that, or were you doing that before you spoke?
No, I started that when I got my license, but I definitely took your took your advice, and it was kind of sketchy at first because I didn't have the extra money to kind of do it.
Right.
I got a couple like $10,000 jobs pretty quick and made some good relationships out of the first $500 I spent. So
it's just a big picture mentality, right? I mean, and I think once you adopt that, it lessens the blow of what you're forking out versus what's coming in. How's Dripjobs been for you?
Dripjobs has been great. Yeah. People for the most part love all the follow-up, and it's just like all the painters around here don't really care about Google reviews. They don't really care about having a CRM follow-up, confirming appointments. And I feel like we're at the cusp, like I'm riding the wave, and I'm catching the wave, to go up before
sure. And you connected Dripjobs to your Angie leads, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
good. I just want to make sure. So
so
what are we talking about today, man? What's an area that you're wanting a little bit of insight on? It sounds like a lot of stuff is going really well for you, man. You've gotten some good help. You got some good marketing. What's an area that you're wanting to zero in on, man?
Well, basically, like I said, I got lucky with this guy, my new apprentice. I got lucky with him. He called me up. He seems like a good kid. But I really like to go more in depth on hiring, sure. Because I know before, I was like, we talked before, I got access to all these guys, but I want to do it right, and I want to be able to hire the right people.
Let's go back to that kid that called you. He keeps saying he got lucky. I don't think he got lucky. I think you earned the ability to be sought after by people that align with companies that have good values. If I was a
Yeah.
painter and I wanted to work for a good company, the first thing I would do is Google companies with the best reviews and call them. I mean,
Yeah.
hello, it's
Yeah.
the same thing that our customers do. Remember, hiring is marketing. So
Yes,
acquiring
sir.
talent isn't really the hard part, bro. I mean, I think we have avenues to do it. Like, it's just, it's as hard as finding leads, right? I mean,
Mhm.
if you need to get leads, what do? You go to
Yeah.
Angie, or you get Google, or, it's the same thing with hiring. You go to Indeed.
Leads leads me to my second issue is training.
Right.
Training.
Well, let's cover the hiring aspect,
Okay.
because you set the standard for hiring, bro. And I want to I'm going to ask you honestly. I mean, when that kid called you, what was the next step? What did you do?
Well, I tried to, follow your lead, and when he called me, it was from my Google local services ad, so I was like answering right away, because they keep track of when you answer those calls through Google, and so I answered it right away, and I was shocked, kind of surprised. It's this kid looking for a job, so I made a type form, quick type form, kind of interview questions, get his basic information. I made that up, sent that link to him. So he filled out the type form, tried to include things you learned recently, and plus all his date of birth and
Sure.
driver's license.
Yeah.
Does he have transportation? Is he
Yeah.
afraid of heights? And then I met him at a Mexican place, and we sat down and chatted, and then I told him he could start in a week.
Sure.
After
Sure.
that.
So, you set the bar pretty high, right? You have this kid who's coming in, and to his perspective, he's working for a legitimate, company, right? Like, and you've done that up until that point. Now, where you tie that all together is your HR slash payroll process, which you said you're working on, right?
No, I have Gusto.
Okay.
And I just finished onboarding him. I just got to get his I-9 in, and then
Cool.
I'm all straight.
So you're ready to go. So you set up Gusto.
Right.
So in the eyes of this person, from my perspective, you did exactly what I teach, which is, regardless of how convenient or inconvenient it is, you need to have a process. You've taken him through a process. You vetted him out. You did the interview. You created the perception that he needs to earn the position. I just got done interviewing 2 guys yesterday. They went through my process, filled out my form, phone interview, in-person interview, background check, right? And then, during the interviews, I think this is where it gets tricky, right? Because when you get to a point where, you're looking for a specific role, you're no longer really looking for skill. You're looking for a mixture of skill and personality.
Mhm.
And I think, like, early on, if you're desperate, you need skill. You need somebody that can do work. Like, we get that, and you're in that stage where I know that you probably produce much of the work. Are you doing any work right now? Are you
Yes, I am, and I'm definitely have to be hand in hand,
with this team, right?
with the team. Yeah,
Right.
for
I
sure.
understand that
Definitely.
fully. I get it, and you're still in that position. But where I'm getting at with this is that, the interview process, you need to become a really good interviewer. You have to know what to look for. I had 2 guys yesterday back to back. The one guy, and it's so interesting when you just let people talk, bro. I mean, that's the key here. The first guy I had off the bat, we're naturally going to judge people off of things we shouldn't, what they look like, like all this. And it's like, you got to get past all that. Like, it was an older gentleman, and off the bat, I'm thinking, I don't know if this guy's going to fit in with our company. It was just like, it was a silly thought, but these are thoughts that we have, right? So I just know my training, though. I said, let me keep asking this guy questions. Let me get to know his heart, see what's deep down in there. And it turns out that, he's maybe just a little nervous when he showed up. And after talking with him, like, this guy aligns with us. He's a family man. He's got a lot of things that he is striving toward, even in being an older gentleman. He's got plenty of experience. He would balance out the crew that he's going to be working with really well, who isn't as experienced as him. Maybe he's not going to buzz around the job site, but he creates a certain level of confidence because of his 15 years of experience. But what I like the most about him is he's super humble. He wants an opportunity. He's worked for himself for so long. He wants to be a part of a team. He doesn't want to go run around and find jobs. And in my head, I'm thinking, this guy is perfect. And
Yeah,
had I not dove into that guy's personality and asked questions about what's important to him, and dude, the first 5 minutes of the interview, I'm thinking, I'm not hiring this guy. That was my thought. And I have to be real with myself and say, no. go through the process, ask more questions, ask more questions, ask more questions. And at the end of the interview, I'm like, that I'm definitely hiring that guy. Right.
Yeah,
So that's
that's
why
cool.
the in-person interview is so important, because guess what? It can also be the other way, bro. It could be the other way. You could actually on the phone think, oh, I'm hiring this guy. Why? Because people are always going to give you literally the best version of themselves, dude. It's the first date, right?
Right.
It's like,
Mhm.
get it, you
I'm
know.
phenomenal on the phone, you know.
Me too. Me
You
too.
know,
I'm
but
walking around the house. I'm phenomenal. And it's like, oh, I want the job, right? So, but realize that both of those guys that I interviewed both did great on the phone, you know, and it was like to the point where I felt confident to meet them in person. If I'm meeting you in person in my busy life, then you're really close to getting a job. You really have to blow the interview, you know, but it just turned out I had one position and I narrowed it down to two guys. And the second guy, this guy was my front runner mentally, dude. When I got there, I'm like, off the bat, I'm like, man, this first guy better wow me, because the second guy, he's young, he's enthusiastic, he's hungry. And
yeah.
I sit down with this guy after the first guy. This was yesterday, bro. No lie. This was yesterday. I'm sitting
Yeah,
down. First of all, the second guy comes in at like 4:01. He was supposed to be there at 4 o'clock. Okay. Other guy was sitting in the parking lot 10 minutes before he was supposed to be there. This guy buzzes in 1 minute close to the buzzer, man. I was ready to leave. Like, I don't usually wait till the time of the interview, but
yeah,
it's either here nor there. The guy had another job. He was working his way over. So I was like, all right. The guy sits down, dude. And right off the bat, I'm thinking, okay, like I'm feeling him out. The guy comes with a vape, dude. You know, one of those mods, like the
yeah,
real
yeah,
vape,
yeah.
like
Like
we're
blowing, he's
not
blowing
talking
dragon
about,
clouds.
yeah, the one where you can literally like fill up a room with smoke. Like this guy
Uh-huh.
takes his vape and sets it down on the table right there. Like not even like, you know, like him and I are buddies, dude. And then,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
he comes in, dude, the guy's chewing gum in his mouth. Like, and I'm just looking at this and I'm thinking, you know, although some people won't take this and see this as a big deal, I'm looking at it as my 65-year-old customers that pay my bills, and they're feeling uncomfortable because this kid doesn't know how to act in a
Yeah.
professional setting. Right
Where's your
then and there.
decorum? Where's your decorum at? Like, you should know, like, hey,
And
bro,
for
like,
right.
come
So here's the deal. Because I did the process, in my head, and this kid, the second kid was a referral from someone I trust. Now, this isn't anything against the person I trust. He doesn't, that's not his responsibility to go
not
through
at
all
all.
that. He just gave him a referral. He said, hey, I know this guy. He's interested. My
Yeah.
job is to vet him out. So the
Mhm.
deal is that I don't take anyone's word for it. I don't care if it's my wife's word for it. I want to see them in my own two eyes. You know, again, if my wife meets someone at work and says, hey, this person's husband would be a good fit. Okay, honey, I love you, but let me make sure that it aligns with our company, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
you know,
definitely.
so idea is, you know, go through the process. And as I'm continuing talking to this second guy, which was yesterday, after those little things, I'm like, okay, I can deal with that. You know, at least it's not, you know, cigarettes or whatever. But here's the deal. As he continued to talk, he unloaded his whole journey about how he's been reprimanded at work for not listening and how he feels like it's been unfair, how HR has been targeting him, and how, you know, it's just an uncomfortable work environment and he hasn't gotten a raise. And
Red flag, red flag, red
dude, I
flags
mean,
everywhere.
I'm just sitting there just watching this kid pretty much
Nosedive.
nosedive here.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, this guy made my first guy look so much better, because that guy was humble. He was excited about the opportunity. He showed up like a professional, real rough around the edges. Okay. But I don't care about that, man. The guy's got a good heart. So for me, what I looked at is like, when I make these decisions, Jarad, you're always going to remember this. It's like, dude, what ingredient are you putting into the cake? You know, and one bad ingredient can spoil any recipe. And the second kid that I was interviewing, all I can see is him complaining, gossiping, arguing about every little thing. He just didn't seem like he likes to follow directions.
Passing the blame off.
Wants more things than he puts out. In other words, he has entitlement, because he kept mentioning how he hadn't gotten a raise and how only people who do XYZ get raises, and he doesn't feel like he needs to. He was telling me how he showed up to a meeting 1 minute late and got written up for it when the whole company was already starting the meeting, and he felt as though because it was early, and dude, it's just like excuses.
Yeah.
Can't give you an opportunity.
Train wreck.
Had I not done that interview in person, brother, and I'm not saying this as if you don't, I'm just saying that reading people is a leader's trait, man. You said you got lucky, and sometimes that happens, bro. I've gotten lucky. I've found some really great people and had to put minimal effort in, But
Yeah.
in the same way, when you get jobs, you get lucky sometimes, right? You know, and it works out, you get
You just
paid, and
fall into it.
you do not want to rely on that, right? So that's my spiel on hiring.
Mhm.
Any hit tidbits on that you want to hit on before we go into the second part?
Well, I just wanted to say, like, before I hired another guy and his brother, and they found me on Yelp, and pretty much, when everybody was slowing down, they're looking for work, just going through painting companies. So I tried them out, and they seemed good on the surface. Then I bring another guy in who I've known for a long time, and they start talking mess about the guy I've known for a long time. They don't know
Sure.
I've known him for a long time. And then every time I walk into the house, they're on the phone.
Yep.
Like, that kind of deal. And it took me a while to get rid of them. It took me a couple weeks to finally just like say no more. But
Yeah, and you're gonna
that's
get
why I feel
quicker
I
at
got
that.
that's why I feel I got lucky with
Well,
the
you got to
other
realize,
guys.
bro, is hiring and firing is your business. That's the business, right?
Mhm.
Like anybody can go into any estimate and sell. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll see how the production is. We'll see what's
Mhm.
going on behind the scenes. We'll see if the customer got a good deal or a bad deal, right? Your job is to facilitate that. Your company's only as valuable as the people you put in the Petri dish, So my thing is that, like, yes, like first order of business is Jared, we have to look at who's going to be running the show. Who is it?
Right now, I got one guy. He's got potential,
Okay.
but he's kind of like he's good, left alone most of the time. But
All right, here's the
sometimes.
deal, man. You're a good guy and you want to give opportunity to people. You love your employees, and maybe you've even mentioned this to this guy about a potential opportunity, have you?
I've just been encouraging him. Hey, bro, you're doing good.
Yep,
You're
doing
doing
good.
good,
Okay.
bro.
Here's the
Stay
deal,
on
my
track.
friend. Here's the
Yeah,
deal. And I want you to understand this and take it to the piggy bank. Not
I'm ready.
everyone is designed to be a leader.
Yeah.
Okay. Stop making excuses for people as to
Mhm.
why they have potential. It's either
Mhm.
you got it or you don't. It's either you want it or you don't. You're either going to lead or you're going to follow. It's one of the other. You are a startup. You don't have the luxury to nurture leadership. It's either someone shows you that they're a leader or they're not. You got to find someone. You put that person as a role player.
Because I'm in that role as the
What role
leader
is that?
now.
Right, you're in that
crew
role,
leader.
but
I'm the crew leader. So
But
yeah,
I'm mentioning,
no,
I'm
you're right.
telling you right now, the reason you're there is because you don't know what you're looking for.
And
And
he
you're
doesn't.
trying and you're hoping that the people that you have eventually come in and save you. It ain't going to happen. So tell me about the new guy that you said you got lucky about. What is he somebody who you could see from this brief time that you've worked with him to be someone to take over the crew?
Maybe at some point, he learns really quick. He's not
What's he
lazy.
missing?
He's missing experience. He's
Not
21.
necessary.
21. He's I wouldn't say what he's missing. See, he's only been with me like a week and a half. He's
Okay.
just missing the time with me.
Does he show
I
up
need
on
to give
time?
him. Yes.
Is he communicative? Does he call and talk to you over and over and over again?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Does he command respect? In other words, does he respect others? Is he humble? Does he communicate well with the customer?
Yes.
Okay.
Seems to
Is
be
he trustworthy? Could you leave him in a closet full of gold? From
Yeah,
what you've
I
seen?
believe so.
Sure. Does he have reliable transportation?
Yes, sir.
All right. Does he seem excited about the opportunity to work with you?
Very.
All right. That's a manager. What you're looking for is for him to make up in years what you've learned in years, which ain't going to happen. Right. So your job is to supervise a manager. Your job is to get someone to a position to where they can feel confident. Those things that I mentioned are worth more than someone that has expertise in the actual painting. You need someone that can communicate effectively with a customer and communicate information to a team, right? Now,
Yes.
here's the deal. You need someone that are your eyes on the job. Eyes. Okay. And age is a number, man. I was 19 years old. I was a general manager of a restaurant, bro. Like that wasn't for me. That doesn't matter. I mean, you'll know if he's mature enough. I mean, it sounds like he is. He's hungry.
I was the lead spray man and the crew leader after a year in my
Okay.
first
So
company,
the idea is that, dude, set it up early. I mean, say, look, if you look at your roster, okay, here's your options. You either make someone a manager now, or you're going to have to wait for the next hiring wave to find a manager. What does that do to the morale of the guys you have?
it doesn't
It
It's just
doesn't.
they're with me. They're with me.
Right.
So
So
I'm
what is
doing
it?
all of it.
What do you guys paint? What do you paint? Industrial water tanks?
No, sir.
What do you
In
paint?
interior, exterior, man.
Okay. So, I mean, the skill level doesn't need to be industrial water tank, OSHA certified, knowing
No,
how to scale a water tank. It needs to
true.
be, what's the most important aspect of a repaint?
Just being respectful, being clean, and
You got it, brother.
paying attention to what you're doing. That's
That has
it.
nothing to do with the job. What's the most important aspect of painting an industrial water tank?
Who knows?
And who knows? Safety and making sure you don't die.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so in other words, like when we look for a manager on this simple thing that we're having people do that actually homeowners can do, right?
Yes,
I mean,
sir.
we're not doing anything they can't do. Maybe if we get the sprayers out and we start doing fine finishing, sure. But brother, if your guys are out there right now, are they painting a house?
Yeah.
Okay. You're not there.
No.
Okay. Who's running the job?
Well, I'm on my
No
way back.
one, because you're not
Yeah.
making anybody a manager. So the problem is that
True.
you got a headless horse over there.
Yes, sir.
Somebody's making decisions.
Uh-huh.
And if they're not, if here's the thing, because you're not making anyone a manager, no one knows who to follow. And if you got a bunch of people not knowing who to follow and everyone's scared to say their opinion about what to do next, your jobs aren't being done efficiently. So there's a part of you that's confident to leave them, but there's something stopping you from choosing a manager. And I think it's one of two things. Number one, obviously, maybe it's because you thought this guy wasn't ready, right?
Mm-hmm.
We need to get rid of that, because if you groom him into what you want him to be, there's not going to be a time on the calendar this year where it's going to be like, boop, he's ready. You got so much experience. There's no way
I like that.
you're going to
man. I like
supervise.
that.
There's not going to be a time. There's no way. In August, I'm going to call you and say, all right, dude, he's ready. And you're like, well, no, he doesn't need to learn that stuff. He's going to get more experience being thrown into the fire and having to figure out, create new reference points of what to do in certain customer related situations, not job situations. Why? Because if there's a job situation, who's he going to call?
Me.
Okay. If there's a customer related situation, he's going to call you, but you're going to say, figure it out. Right.
Yeah,
That's the whole
right.
purpose of management, is you're paying people to handle and put out fires and make sure fires don't exist. Or option number two is you're worried that the person that's been with you long is not going to like the fact that someone you just brought in at 21 years old is going to be running the job.
That is an issue, but I appreciate your perspective on that, because he's the younger kid's so new. I hadn't even thought of that. I was like, I'm thinking in my head, I need a training program. I need to show this guy the ropes, how to paint every little thing, but I was wrong.
No, you need somebody that follows your instruction from afar. Hey, did we get that room cut in yet? Hey, is that room rolled? Hey, did you guys spray this yet? Hey, what's your plan for today? Okay. Hey, this, again, your people. You're going to have to decide who you put in charge. Now, it might not be this 21-year-old. You might say, hey, I'm going to give Joe an opportunity who's been with you for however long. But you need to do it now, because here's what's going to happen. You're going to, number one, learn if the decision you make was the right one, right? Can this person handle the pressure? Can they get jobs done on a deadline? Do they get people to listen to them, right? And if you nurture a manager from a painter to a manager, they're going to stick with you, man. They're going to be so loyal to you for giving them that opportunity. It should, number one, 100% come with a raise. I think there should be a 1-month training period, and then they get a raise for taking over the job, and you just nurture that. Okay, that's the first thing that's going to happen. Here's the most important thing. You're going to learn how to manage a manager. That is the thing that you need to learn. If you can't learn how to nurture and manage a manager and make sure that they're doing their job the right way, you can't scale a business. Because if you can't create managers, you can't grow a business. You have to either rely on the market to bring you managers, which kills the morale of your company, or, you kind of just at the mercy of,
what you got.
Right. What you got. And if you're not actively nurturing people to achieve the goal, who's striving to be a manager? No one cares, because Jarad keeps showing up at the job doing all the work. So in other words, like, here's an example with Dripjobs, dude. I love selling Dripjobs. Here's, I love the demo process. No one in the whole world, in the entire world, can explain Dripjobs to someone better than me. right? And in the same way, you feel as though that you being on the job, make sure that the jobs run smooth. You know things about jobs that need to be done. Hey, that drop cloth needs to be put there. That paint needs to be put there. That things need to be taped. Like, dude, there's so much, but you got to understand that. And I have to understand that in order for me to excel, my new sales rep is going to miss things. There's no way he's going to learn what I've learned doing 2,000 Dripjobs demos. There's no way. But the sooner I get this guy into the fire, he's going to catch up as soon as possible, right? And that's the idea, man, is that you need to continuously nurture a manager, grow them. It's like watering a seed, dude. You're not going to get fruit, within the first year, but you know what? After a year or so, they'll be autonomous. They'll start making decisions. They're not only going to be doing the same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah. And here I'm waiting for maybe in a couple months I'll have him trained up where he knows what he's doing. Now you're absolutely right, man. I just gotta, just throw him in the fire.
Throw him in the fire.
Sink or swim. Sink
or swim. He's not going to learn anything that quickly. And he's going to be so focused on, just the fact that he's, there's just so much to learn. So in other words, like, you have to be okay with them not hitting 100%, but that's where supervision comes in. Yeah. Like, that's where you go in and you can coach from the sidelines and say, hey man, the customer's pretty upset because you didn't, put a drop cloth there and you got a drop of paint on the rug, and that's why we tell you, make sure that the drop cloths are laid out and they're not creased and they're nice in there and they're right there. And now, man, we got to make sure of that. Right. Yeah. And if you get someone that cares, they won't make the same mistake twice, man.
Yeah. It's true.
All three of my managers in my painting business have never been managers anywhere.
Yeah.
Ever. No one's ever given an opportunity. And I always say that. I'm like, man, what idiots. Not my guys, the people who could have given them opportunities. It's like, these are great managers. I'm able to sit here and talk to you knowing that 3 jobs are getting done right now. And I don't even need to know about them, what's going on. I know that they got it covered. I know them. Mm-hmm. And it's great because the new hire that I just brought on, he started today. It was great. I actually put him through a background check and it came back clear, like within a few hours, clearchecks.com. Amazing. Mm-hmm. Got him on board and he fits right in. My manager, Julio, which is somebody I brought in as a manager. He's never managed. He comes in, he facilitates the process, trains him up, gets him going. And you're just creating the system, man. But right now there's a major issue and I know I'm shooting a lot at you, but I know that you're soaking it up. Here's the deal, man. The issue is that you're not present and no one's in charge. If you can just understand that concept very well, then you need to make a decision quickly of who you're putting in charge, let the team know. And that's the way it goes.
Yep. Yeah, man. I really appreciate that perspective, because I was going to put the one guy, I was kind of, like I said, giving him an encouragement, hey, you're doing good, and trying to kind of lead him. But the past few days, I've seen things that just tells me he doesn't understand certain things that I can't teach him, and bringing the younger guy in and just pretty much put him on the fast track to be my eyes and ears on the job is exactly what I need to do. And I wouldn't have done it if I didn't talk to you about it, because I think it would have taken me a long time to figure out that, that I'm waiting for the right moment to do whatever, or, hire a more expensive guy to do the job is not the way to do it.
You're not painting industrial water tanks, man. You're just painting houses. Yeah, it's a very simple thing that we're doing, and
mostly common sense. Dealing with these customers, it's just common sense. Would you do that in your grandma's house? Like, no.
Yeah, that's it. It's amazing, dude. It's why this is one of the coolest businesses, because not only do we get, I think of it as a free manager. The customer. You can always call the customer and see what's really going on, right?
Yeah.
But it's just an opportunity to bring in people and have them do what they would do in their own house, just in a very professional way. Yeah. And, again, there's a finite amount of things that the person's going to experience and go through, and you're there, but your job should be stay away, man. You don't need to be there. Like I know it's going to be hard. You're going to go do estimates. You maybe even build up a second crew, or, do your hiring, check in on the job, network, get into networking groups, start building your brand. And you cannot be successful if you're on the job, man. So like maybe 10 hours a week, but I think that's you setting up the job in the beginning of the day, and maybe showing up at the end of the day, going over what they did, talking with the team. And look, man, you might get some pushback from whoever maybe you promised an opportunity to, or maybe you wouldn't. Maybe that'll be a big relief. Maybe you're forcing an opportunity on someone who doesn't want it. Maybe they just want to just show up to work. And, but if you know someone's ready for an opportunity, man, now's the time. Say, look, I think this is such an awesome thing to do anyway. Take them out to lunch, say, hey man, in the week you've been here, you've really exceeded my expectations, and I want to give you an opportunity to run the crew. Can you imagine what output that would do for a
Dude.
21-year-old kid?
Dude, he would be over the moon, and he
Over
would
the
be
moon.
loyal forever.
Forever.
Like, forever.
And I want, just outline what your expectations are and how you're not worried about his knowledge in the actual painting. We'll learn that more so how he treats customers, how he communicates, how he effectively communicates to the team, and you'll train him on fill in the blanks.
I like it. I like it a
You have
lot.
an opportunity, and it's almost like you ride the momentum of good fortune. So you got this good guy. You don't want him to leave. It's like, don't ever think that people can't get up and go find somewhere else to work.
Yeah.
Always try to keep them there in a good way. Give him an opportunity. Survive. You keep that kid in. If he's motivated, you keep him in that position long enough, he'll start to think, man, what else is out there for me? Because the owner of my business is the only one controlling whether or not I have some. There's two ways to excite people about sticking with you: new opportunity, right? So you advance them, or more money, right? So you can always go the more money route. That's the easiest way. That's just the, but there's a threshold to that, right? Especially if they're only operating in a certain capacity. Right. But if you give someone an opportunity to be a manager and they've never been a manager in any capacity, their identity shifts. Dude, you give someone an identity shift, number one, they're loyal to you, but they turn into a different person. I've seen it every time. Every time I give someone an opportunity. Real quick story, Shamel, man, he's my main guy, dude. This guy's awesome, bro. He's been with me for now 5 years. He started out as $16.
I always think about that, about Shamel. I'm like, if I had a Shamel,
you have this could be your Shamel, bro. I mean, he's been with me for 5 years. I sat with him at Starbucks. He started at $16 an hour. He worked on the crew. Now he's on salary and he runs the company on the production side. He trains everyone. He does phenomenal work for us. He's such a good guy now, like for our company. And it's like, I gave him a place to grow. Like, I mean, it's like people will either force you to do it, or you're going to have to do it before they force you to do it. And if they force you to do it and you're not ready for that, that's when they want to leave. So like, in other words, if like Shamel is progressing, he's like, hey, I want this opportunity. And usually the right people don't just ask for more money. They don't just say, hey, I want to raise. They say, hey, I want a new opportunity. I want to manage something. I want to do something. Right. And if you're not in the mental space to give that person the opportunity, then guess what? You've stopped them in their momentum. Long story short, he was able to, purchase a house, and he's just very, very loyal to the company, man. And it's like, I had to make those tough decisions. I had to make room for him.
I want to do that for people, man. I do.
Do it. It's great. Yeah. It's one of the best things you can do in life is give people opportunity, man. When someone looks you in the eye and says, I've been applying everywhere. No one's giving me a chance. The person that hires me, I'm going to be loyal, and they're going to get way more than what they're paying me. I'll tell you that. When someone looks you in the eye and says, and you're the person that gives them the opportunity, dude, it's like collecting like the rarest form of gold.
Yeah, I just got chills thinking about it, man, because that was me when I was, I was just hungry, just willing to, just tell me what to do, and I'm gonna do it, but and I was given those opportunities at certain points, so
I love it, man. I think just like I said, man, get out of here. I think we've capped it off for today, but come back again and we'll talk about next steps. Did you have anything outstanding you wanted to chat before we leave?
No, man, that was pretty much it, man. I think yeah, maybe not the direction I was thinking of. This was going to
never turns out that way. I never planned.
But man, I'm really glad I talked to you, man. I really am, for sure. And yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm excited. And
cool, man.
Jarad, I think this year is going to change my life, man. Hopefully.
Your life is already changing, man. Just now, it's just do what you've been doing. And make tough decisions. Like if you're not making decisions that scare you at all, you're not growing at all. I make decisions every day that scare me. Like
I got a few coming up. I should be making decisions on, like bookkeeping for painters, like going with Pierpont, on my marketing, those are big money decisions, but they could pay off.
They could. They could. I mean, these are big decisions that, you're not really no one taught you how to make, and you're moving money around that normally you would used to like wish you had.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know, like
Exactly.
I remember, bro, just being broke. Like, and then now you have to make, I'm deciding on whether to hire a developer or bring on a painter, and we're talking big salaries. So
When I was on last time, you told me I should expect to pay $1,000 a month on Google, and I was like, "What? Like that is so much
yeah,
money, dude!" And like
now you're
now,
at
like,
what, three
now I'm at
grand?
like 500 a week,
Yeah.
on Angie
Uh-huh.
leads and all this other stuff, and I'm not even
It's
batting an eye because I know it pays off.
pays off. It pays off. You can spend
It
10
does.
grand a month on marketing, but here's the thing. You're not really going to see that until you have two jobs going on at once. Like that's because remember, and I tell people this, you got to understand that whatever that one crew can produce is not just covering their own expenses. Okay. So like a crew, think of a crew as its own branch of your business. You have one branch, you have one location.
Supporting the overhead.
Exactly. It has
There's
to
two
cut.
of them.
Not only does that branch cover its own expenses, it covers all the overhead too. So the second crew needs to happen this year. I don't know if that was in your plans, but you need to get at least two guys up and running doing their own jobs.
Yeah,
And
that's a
even
good
that
point.
could be you and another person while that one crew is autonomous. And then, so I would at least plan this year. So you have three guys right now. You have the young kid and two others.
Yes.
So there's your three. You built a team of three, and then you need to at least plan to hire one more that can work alongside you. And then best case scenario, two that could be a crew of two. And then you're just finding jobs for a crew of three and a crew of two, and you can bounce one back and forth if needed. That's a good strategy for the year.
Yeah, I need a strategy.
And you should hit about 700,000 at that pace. Honestly, like if you max out, you should be at about 700 grand a year.
Because I got like 100 grand out in estimates right now just from the last month. And, I think everybody's waiting for their tax return. They're like, we're going to go with you, but so if this,
what are you asking for a deposit?
I'm doing the 500 down for the schedule, locking your price and your spot in the schedule. And then I had some longer jobs when I had less guys. So I was doing 30%, 30%, 40%.
Okay.
I think I'm going to start doing 50 on the first day. And then 50 when we're done.
I'm not a fan of that first day stuff.
What do you think?
Stupid. Not saying I just think that's not how I want to start a relationship. Hey, we're here. Pay me. That sound weird to you if a contractor comes up and
it does.
And it does.
Don't you have a charge account for all your paint? Why do you need paint? Why do you need money for materials?
Right. We don't want to do that. There's no reason. Like if you do your cash flow right, you should just do a deposit and then get paid when you're done. The jobs don't last that long. If it's a long job and it's commercial, get whatever payment you want. But with homeowners, again, like I don't ever want to start off on that foot. First of all, no one likes writing a check before work is done.
Yeah.
People will happily give money to schedule work. So if you really need more of a deposit, up your deposit. I think no more than $1,000, but up your deposit. But I don't like that first day money thing.
It's a good point.
It would rub me the wrong way I'm a tough buyer, dude, but I respect good business. Like if you come at me as a good business owner, bro, I'm the easiest person to work with. But if you come at me with like things that don't make sense, like you don't need that much of a deposit.
Especially like dealing with like leads that are coming from everywhere, not just word of mouth referrals that's different. You have a different
very true. Good point. Exactly. There's word of mouth. You can get away with a few things. Word of mouth, if they really know you, again, like we just don't want to, I don't want to have the money. I don't like the money thing. Like it's like I finish your job, pay me. To book me, it's $500. That's it.
Yeah.
But again, that's something to think about.
I'm gonna phase that out. I've been dealing with cash flow issues, but
yeah,
I think once that goes away, I'm gonna phase it out.
And here's the deal: you got to do what you got to do. I'm just saying that once that's phased out, keep it clean, professional. How much is on your Sherwin-Williams credit account?
2,500, and pretty much. But
ask your rep to go to 10 grand.
Yeah, I am. My rep and I've known my rep for 20 years. He used to work at Frazee before Sherwin-Williams bought him out, and now he's my rep at Sherwin-Williams.
Perfect, man. So you have good relationship. I would just bump it up, especially in a growth season right now, because your spread's so thin with the marketing. Dude, there's no way your cash flow is pretty right now because you're spending so much on marketing. You only have 3 guys producing work. You're generating 5 to 6 grand a week. You need to get some buffer in your business somehow, and Sherwin-Williams will give you a gift. Just up your credit and then use that as leverage, but plan to get that second crew up. I would get that second crew up in June, no later.
That's a good idea. I'm really I'm gonna try, man. I'm gonna do my
Yeah.
best.
Do that, man.
Fuck
Good
that.
luck
No,
to you.
I'm not gonna try. I'm gonna do it.
You're gonna do it. That's easy, man. Well, then come
Yeah.
back to me in July and tell me how the second crew's running.
I will.
There
I
you
will,
go. There's some
dude.
accountability. Thanks,
I'm gonna
bro,
do
for
it, bro.
trusting me to give you some, and, you know, and it fires me up too.
I really appreciate it, dude. I really appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
I'm looking to grow, but I just needed somebody to tell me, like,
Hey, man,
do this shit.
whatever.
You can do it.
Get out there. Get out there. Go get it, brother. Thank you, man.
All right.
God bless you
Yeah.
and your business. Take care.
Have a good one, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Later.